Today we will review the quarterfinals and do our predictions for the semifinals in the 2017 CONCACAF Gold Cup. Let's start with Jamaica's 2-1 win over Canada. Jamaica scored an early goal in the 6th minute from Sean Francis. Jamaica had a good chance of winning after that goal, because if you are the worst team, then you have to play more defensive than usual and try to attack at the right time. However, conceding an early goal is something you don't want to do if you are Canada. Romario Williams then scored in minute 50. After that, the game is pretty much over if you are Canada. You conceded a few minutes after the game started and a few minutes after halftime. That is what you don't want if you are the underdog. Canada then scored a consolation goal via Hoyle in minute 61. It was a comfortable win for Jamaica, just maybe more comfortable than they thought. Next we have Mexico and Honduras, where Mexico scored via Pizarro within 4 minutes. It is now the earliest goal in the tournament by 10 seconds. Now, Mexico is obviously the better team, so Honduras shouldn't make the same mistake Canada did by conceding early, because that costed them the game. Honduras played contently throughout the game, but that early goal costed them as they failed to score. After that, the U.S. beat El Salvador 2-0. I thought the U.S. was one of the most likely teams to win in the quarterfinals. However, one of the biggest problems with the best teams in this tournament is that it takes them a while to score. For example, in the group stage, when Panama played Nicaragua, they didn't score for 49 minutes, so Nicaragua made them pay. That is one of my biggest concerns with the best teams in this tournament, and that could cause for some upsets in the future. And the last quarterfinal game to be reviewed is Costa Rica and Panama. Yes, there was only one goal, but it was the best game by a mile. I'm a US and Mexico fan, and I usually watch all 90 minutes for this game, but I watched every second of this one. Both teams played great defense. There was a few moments in there, but each team shut each other down. There was an own goal in minute 77, and it might have been the best own goal I've ever seen. I note that both teams weren't much of an underdog at all, because this was the biggest mismatch in the quarterfinals. Now on to the semifinals, arguably the most exciting part of the competition. First, we'll preview the Mexico and Jamaica game. Even if you are biased towards Jamaica, just say it. Mexico is the better team. But even though I think Mexico will win it, Jamaica needs to do a few things to possibly win. One is to be high pressure early. This Mexico team can score very early and in a blink of an eye, so if Jamaica doesn't concede for 30 minutes, then that will be good for them. Obviously, their midfielders need to play more defensive, but they also need to be on their toes and do more playmaking than usual. They need to try to send the ball upfield and make plays, because Williams and Mattox have both scored twice, and they only have 3 goal scorers compared to Mexico's 6. Mexico will probably also do this tactics I said that would help Jamaica, so Jamaica also really need to play high pressure. But I do think Mexico will win. And last we have USA and Costa Rica, or Costa Rica and the US preferably. For me, I didn't think the US or Mexico would win the Gold Cup because of the squads they brought, so I thought Panama would win. But that obviously didn't happen. So I think Costa Rica will win the Gold Cup. And that of course means being the US. However, I think it definitely will be close. The USA will definitely score a goal, as they have 7 goal scorers, with 2 of them having scored 2 goals. Costa Rica have a few good players, but it was the chemistry that brought them to the World Cup quarterfinals, and it is the chemistry that will give them their first ever Gold Cup. That's what I think. What I'm saying is Costa Rica will beat the US. Anyway, that was our quarterfinals review and our semifinals predictions. But who do you think will win the Gold Cup? For me, it's Costa Rica, but you might think it will be Mexico, maybe the US, or even Jamaica.